Hi, thank you for joining me. I am going to talk to you a little bit about foundations material. I'm Britt Holloway, and I'm the book rep, which is product specialist. So you can access things on Facebook at Classical Bookstore Alaska, and that's kind of our Alaska CC bookstore page. So let me run you through some of these wonderful things I have here on my foundations table. We just had a little mini practicum today, so these are some of the things that we had out. Now for foundations, the only thing that you're gonna have to have is this foundations guide and a tin whistle. Those are the only mandatory things. Everything else is supplementary. And I will turn the camera here if I can. Let's see if I can do that. Nope, all right. Anyway, I'll just walk you through some of these things. The foundations guide is like this. Just has lots of pages. 3 cycles worth of work. So this is the only guide that you'll need for each cycle, and it'll just repeat itself. So if you were in the foundations program for 6 years, the same book should last you, and it was just updated, so it should be all up to date. Other things that are not mandatory, but I think are very good, and I'm not someone that buys too much stuff, but I do like books, but I've been in CC for 7 years, I think. So the things that I use CDs. I get these CDs. It has all the memory work, songs, history sentences, all the stuff that you go over in the grammar, and I can play them in my car, and the kids can have copies of them, and they can just play them to do some of their review. And there's also an app, but it's not the same, and it's not as user-friendly, but it has its place. But I found I did not use it this year near as much as I did just the songs. And then I downloaded them onto my phone, and that was very useful. Another thing that I think is pretty much a mandatory are these flashcards. These are well worth their money. This is $30 for this packet. So for this coming year, you'll want cycle 3. This is from cycle 2. If you can get last year's cards and you're gonna stay in CC, by all means, get cycle 2 now. But they come out like this, and you can just hang them on a ring, and it has each of the subjects on there. If you're gonna tutor, this is an absolutely great thing to have to do review games in class. But this way I know we'll go through all of our review material, and then we'll go down to what we don't know, and I'll just put it on the cards, and then we can just flip through and flash through these cards. So I have used those. I have tried in the past making index cards and doing things cheaply, and it's not near as good. Just doesn't work out. Another thing that I like a lot, you'll want to have some kind of map. The foundations guide has maps in it. You can, I think you can photocopy them once you've purchased it, and you can blow up the map. You can do things like that, and then laminate it. There's a lot of map work in CC. So what this here is, let me see if I can set this up. Very helpful if I had someone here. There we go. This is a trivium table, and this will be in the guide. It is $10, definitely worth $10, and it lasts forever. So this is going to be all of the United States, and then on this side here, it has every week's memory work. It'll say states and capital, and then have it listed out, Augusta, Maine, Concord, New Hampshire, Boston, Massachusetts, and you check it off as you learn it. And then you have, you can bring this with you to community, or just use this all week long. And this is what I use to quiz off of. And that blank map there is very nice, and that it's dry erase. You can do a lot with that on there. I love trivium tables for all sorts of things. There's trivium tables for all different subjects, but that one I found was mandatory. These others are helpful and useful resources for some math. This year I use a number chart a lot for teaching my younger kids things. And if there's anything that you want to see more of, sometimes I can maybe give you a hint. Other things that you'll see in the catalog people like are cards. They'll come in packets like this. So this is just 1 out of 3 artists and composers cards. What these cards are, you can put them in a binder like this, and it comes with these sleeves. You can purchase this binder, and you can remove them from the binder, and they're for the different subjects. This is the timeline cards. So we go through timeline. This is Phoenicians in the alphabet. And then on the back, it has just some information about the Phoenicians. One thing I do with the timeline cards is you end up collecting quite a lot of timeline cards, and I'll just give it to the kids and I'll say, here, put all of these dates in order. And they do it, not based on the date, but based on the words. So Phoenicians in the alphabets, they know where it comes in correlation with Greek Dark Ages, Columbus sails to the Caribbean, and my 5-year-old was able to do the entire timeline from the beginning to the modern age without being able to read, but having memorized the picture image with the word. It's phenomenal brain training. Very useful. I love the timeline cards. Science cards, definitely just an alternative, but same thing with science facts. And then artists and composers. So you see the idea behind that. And then there's just flashcards that come in these boxes. What's different about these are that they do math facts up to the 15s, because that's what we do in CC. So this is multiplication up to 15 times 15, and addition, math facts through 15 plus 15, and not very expensive. So those are some of the big ones. Some new ones, I recommend everybody reads The Core. This is by Lee Bortons. This is kind of covers foundations and essentials ages. Gives you a good overview of the classical education and how CC ties in with it. Just hints and tips of different things to do. There's a book called The Well-Trained Mind, which is a big, thick book. I love that book. You don't have to read the whole thing. It just breaks classical education up by ages. So I have used it from 4-year-olds all the way up through my teenage son. Goes through the rhetoric ages, and I just reference it every now and then. It's great. So get that. There's 3 of them. There's the core, the question, and the conversation. The question goes towards the dialectic stages, and starting to go into rhetoric is the conversation. You can get them, do a book club, and I think they might have audio of some of them. Something new to CC over the last couple of years, they're switching to this Copper Lodge library binding. So you can see that has a nice spine on the end, like that. This is Old World Echoes, and this is New World Echoes. So Old World Echoes goes with the ancient history that we had last year, and New World Echoes goes with cycle 3, which will be this upcoming year. It breaks it down week by week and covers some little story. I'll try to pick one right here. Something from the classics. Here's an American short story for week 8. Little Benjamin has some illustrations.